Hello, good morning. Actually, it's already about noon time, and today I'm just gonna continue reading this book. And these two paragraphs that I'm gonna read is actually about the history of this school, the how it got founded, and then the second paragraph is called Nurturing Creative Thinkers. It's very interesting and actually reminds me of my days at Stanford, and I really feel like I wasted so much time on some of the required courses and the required works, and there are just a whole lot of interesting things and the courses and resources that they provide at Stanford that I didn't really get to explore. I actually just now I was actually looking at the website and to see if we still have the fall program open, admission open for the second half of the year, but unfortunately it's already past the deadline. But I was literally thinking if I should apply again and go back to school and continue my, not like continue, but get a chance to be a student again, and then with a new mindset to see if I could do something better. Yeah. But anyways, I'm just gonna read this paragraph today, and this is a really good book, I think. Well, at least to me, or maybe to some people who's already pretty experienced design thinker. Creative thinker, but I think I'm still at this really young and newborn stage, so any new information could be really inspiring information to me. Yeah. Okay. I think I always talk too much before I read. Okay, let me start my reading today. Born to Flip, the birth of the D School. In the early 2000s, David started experimenting with teaching at Stanford with professors from other parts of the university. Prior to that, David had taught only students in the design division at the School of Engineering who already identified themselves as creative. In these new interdisciplinary courses, however, he worked with MBAs and computer science students who often didn't think of themselves as that way. It was in this classroom that David and his colleagues could see what unlocking creativity really looked like. Some of the students went beyond just using the tools and embraced the philosophy of design thinking, and in doing so, they developed a new mental outlook and a new self-image and a new sense of empowerment. Students began visiting him during office hours, sometimes months later after the class was over, to tell him that they had started to see themselves as creative individuals for the first time, that they could apply creativity to any challenge. Their eyes would light up with excitement, with a sense of opportunity of possibility. Sometimes they cried. David came up with a name for the transformation he was observing: flipping, changing from one state of mind to another. The playfulness of the term flipping reminded him of the joyful poetry of a somersault on a trampoline or a diving board. These students he talked with were engaged and excited in a way that made it clear something in them had changed permanently. It was the sort of profound impact educators live for. Along with former students George Campbell, David began to talk with friends and colleagues about starting a new program. He envisioned a place in the university where students from different backgrounds could come to nurture their creative talents and apply their newfound skills to tough challenges. David pointed out at Stanford, like all world-class universities, had Nobel laureate quality researchers drilling deeper into their own fields of knowledge. But he suggested that there are tremendous challenges in the 21st century that are not going to be solved that way. Maybe some solutions will be found by putting that scientist into a room with a business person and a lawyer and an engineer and others, rather than keeping all their eggs in the going deep basket. David proposed that Stanford make at least a small set bet. David proposed that Stanford make at least a small set bet on going broad. And one day the new institute may have the respect and the cachet of the Graduate School of Business, commonly known as the B School. That is how the new venture got its nickname, which has stuck ever since, the D School. When he told Hasselplaner, one of the founders of enterprise software giant SAP, about the idea, Hassel generously reached for his checkbook. The D School, officially known as the Hasselplaner Institute of Design, opened its door in 2005. Nurturing creative thinkers. While IDEO's work historically focused on innovations, from the beginning, the Stanford D School nurturing creative thinkers. While IDEO's work historically focused on innovators, from the beginning, the Stanford D School has focused on innovators. Students from every graduate school at Stanford come to take classes at the D School. It doesn't issue degrees and doesn't have any required courses. Everyone is there because they want to be. Currently, more than 700 students attend courses at D School each year. Project-based classes are team-taught by faculty members from all over the university and by industry practitioners. In this diverse environment, it is normal to hear many points of view, often conflicting ones. Students learn by doing and tackle real-world challenges, usually in multidisciplinary teams. Beyond just graduate students, executives from all over the world attend workshops, and the K-12 lab works with children and educators to help spread confidence in their creative abilities. Classes often start with simple design briefs, succinct articulations of a challenge, like redesign the experience of getting your morning coffee. When confronted with a question or problem such as a morning coffee challenge, people with strong analytical skills tend to snap instantly into problem-solving mode. They leap for the finish line and then start defending their answers. For example, think about how quickly think about how quickly a skilled doctor, when presented with a set of symptoms, make a diagnosis and prescribe the solution. Often it's a matter of seconds. During one morning coffee challenge a few years back, a med school student in the class immediately raised a hand and said, "I know what we need, a new kind of coffee creamer." For such skilled analytical thinkers, an unresolved issue hanging in the air is uncomfortable. They are anxious to provide an answer and move on. In routine problem-solving situations, where there is a single right answer, that method is very efficient and sometimes quite appropriate. Creative thinkers, however, confronted with the same open-minded question, are careful not to rush to judgment. They recognize that there are many possible solutions and are willing to go wide first, identifying a number of possible approaches before converging on the idea's most worth implementing. So David and the D School professors ask students to accept their initial answers, the cliche ones already in their heads. They encourage students to go deeper, to understand the situation better, observing people's behavior around the coffee drinking, in order to identify latent needs and opportunities. After the group has been guided through the design process in a collaborative environment, dozens of ideas emerge. Everything from a coffee pot that knows exactly how you like your drink, how hot you like your drink, and deliver it that way every time, to an automatic stirrer you drop into your cup, Then professors ask class members if any of the new solutions they arrived at were better than their original answers. Usually the answer is yes. Yeah, so that is the reading of today. So I try to read through these two paragraphs twice, and yeah, I think I'm getting a little bit better every time, obviously. And yeah, it's really just the matter of the content that I'm reading. So I do feel like I got a little bit goosebump while I'm reading through the material. I really feel like I should have taken these courses when I was, at least try to audit them when I was at Stanford. Yeah, it was, I won't say I was such bad student. At least I know that there was a routine that I need to follow, and I follow that strictly. But on the other hand, it's also the problem that I'm just following the traditional way of being a student, like so perfectly, that my sights were so narrowed that I can only see these courses that I should go in depth. But I mean, there's nothing wrong with going in depth. That's my tasks when I was studying and pursuing my master program. But there is also something on the other hand, going wide. Because I remember that in the I don't know, the program track, you know, for when students select their courses that they want to take during the program, there are actually two different tracks at the CS department. One is go in depth, one is in breadth. Although the choices were kind of limited, but it's there are still lots of options that I didn't really even think about that I could explore into. The only thing I thought about was, get a good grade, and then get my work done, and which is so much waste of resources. And it's not like wasting of time. Yeah, of course I spend my time when I'm working on something else, but it's the resources. I feel sad. I think I will definitely try applying the program at my school again next year. I don't know if they would actually allow me to get into the program, but I will try. I think there's always, if you don't try, there's no doors will open for you. Maybe I could get back again, and then I'll try to be a good learner, not a good student anymore. Maybe that's something that again over the years I'm happy about the change. See ya.